Okay, now that we know how to create Trojans, and we have a working script that'll replace downloads on the fly with any file that we want, let's test this script against a remote computer because we only tested it against our local machine before. And to make this example more realistic, we're going to replace the files that the target person downloads with a Trojan that I created using the method I showed you in the previous lecture. In this example, I'm actually going to be replacing PDF files with my Trojan, not exe files. So like I said, using this method, you can replace any file with any other file. So, in order to look for PDF files, I'm going to modify this. So I'm going to be looking for requests that has a URL that ends with a PDF instead of exe. And that's it. Done. The next thing that I need to modify is the URL to this file, to the file that I want to replace the target file with. So my Trojan is stored in my own web server. So it's at 10.22.15.8. And it's called index.zip. So I actually used the Z flag when I created the Trojan. So like I said before, I could have just gave you this script and showed you how to use it like this, but I wanted to show you how to make stuff like this. So I'm done right now. This will replace any PDF that the target person tries to access with this zip file in here. Now, let's go ahead and run the attack. And we're going to be running it with an ARP spoof and get tag. Like I said before, you can use man-in-the-middle proxy whenever you're the man-in-the-middle. So you can use it with ARP spoof and get tags. You can use it if you're using a fake access point or with any other scenario when you become the man-in-the-middle. For us, for convenience, I'm just going to be becoming the man-in-the-middle using ItterCap, using an ARP spoof and get tag. And this command we've actually executed a number of times now, so I'm just going to go over it very quickly. I'm doing ItterCap TQ ARP remote to do an ARP spoof and get tag. I'm selecting my interface, which is ETH0-S, so that it doesn't generate SSL certificates. And then I have the IP for the gateway, followed by the IP for my target. I'm going to hit enter, and this will put me in the middle of the connection, so everything that the target does is going to be flowing through my computer, and ItterCap will be able to read it. The next step is going to be running man-in-the-middle proxy, and we're going to do that by doing... I'm already at the working directory, so I'm just going to do man-in-the-middle dump. I'm going to give it the location of my script, which is in root, basic.py. And I'm going to add the -- transparent argument this time, because we want to run this as a transparent proxy and not as an explicit proxy, so the browser will not be configured to use man-in-the-middle proxy. Okay, so we're doing man-in-the-middle dump, S followed by the location of my script, and transparent. And I've actually covered why we'd use a transparent proxy in a previous lecture. So I'm going to hit enter, and that's man-in-the-middle proxy running on port 8080. So when data is going to come to my computer, they're going to come on port 80. And like I said before, we'll have to run another command, an iptables command, to redirect any request or response that comes on port 80 to port 8080, where man-in-the-middle proxy is running, so that man-in-the-middle proxy will be able to access the flows and manipulate them using the script that we gave it. So I'm going to hit enter, and that's the command executed. And that's it. We're ready to go. Let's go to the Windows machine. And I'm just going to go to google.com. And I'm just going to search for a sample PDF. Okay, let's assume that our target wants to open the first URL. You'll see they'll be asked to download a zip. So this won't be very suspicious. They'll think that the PDF is just inside the zip. They're going to click OK. Like I said, you don't have to put a zip in here. You can put an exe. You can replace exes to be less suspicious. It's up to you. If there was a PDF exploit that's there in the wild and you know that the target is vulnerable to, then you can use that. I'm just running an example here, and I'm replacing it with a zip file. I'm going to download. And then I'm going to open my downloads. and uncompress this zip file. And as you can see, I get a normal file in here that's called index. It has an icon of a PDF, and the file extension in here, as you can see, it's called index.pdf, so it has a PDF extension. So everything looks normal, everything looks good to the user. The user is going to double-click this to run it. As you can see, they get a normal PDF that they can browse, but at the same time, this executed my evil file. So your evil file can be anything. It can be a backdoor, it could be a keylogger. In my case, I have a credential harvester that's going to send the saved passwords to my own email. So if I go to Kali and go to my browser, gonna hit the refresh, and as you can see, I have a new email called the report. And if I open my attachment, you'll see my credential harvester got me the username for my Target's Google account, and the password is 123456. So that was just an example of a file that you can use. You can replace this with a keylogger. You can replace downloads with a Trojan, with a virus, with a backdoor, so you can hack the target computer and gain full control over it. You can replace it with anything, so you're only limited by your imagination, really. And using this method, you can actually build so much more attacks. So I just showed you a very simple example of how we can analyze, intercept, write a response, and then replace downloads. But you can use the idea to, for example, to redirect people to different URLs, inject different types of codes, and even the files themselves. You can use so many files and so many ideas.